It's time.
What the bloody hell is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's the King of the Couch back in your ear holes for another edition of the King of the Couch, the world's greatest podcast. I am so sorry I haven't been here in 2 whole weeks. It's been ridiculous. It feels like the longest hiatus I've ever had from the show. I've been under the weather. I've been on annual leave and I've been on sick leave combined together in a cocktail, and frankly it was way too heavy on the sick leave. The annual leave was just basically a dash, like a bit of bitters, and the sick leave was all the vodka and stuff we fucking overloaded on. So I've been under the weather, frankly, and that's why I haven't been on. So I'm going to break down the last 2 weeks of what the fuck's been going on, and we'll talk about everything that's been happening in the world. I feel like so much has been happening in the world, like a ridiculous amount has been happening in the world. Since I posted my last podcast, I can't believe the amount of shit that's been happening in the world. So we'll go break that down. So this is going to be a bit of a matzo ball episode. I think we're going to do a bit of everything, a lot of life. Frankly, it's been a long time since I've done a solo podcast. I set my intention this year as like, I'm going to get more guests on, and I hadn't, intended to not do as many solo podcasts, but it's just working out that I had basically, done the solo stuff, but also teed up the show with Smitty, and then it just like guests. And when the guests come on, you sort of got to strike while the iron's hot. Basically, we had Mo Mayhem on, we had Ken from the Bronx, and then we had old Matty Simplified. And they all just sort of came at once. So when you're talking to these people and they're ready to give you their time, you're going, fuck, I've got to strike here. So it's been good. I will say it was a good episode to leave you on a hiatus for. Not that was my intention, but it was a good one nonetheless. That was episode 131 with Matty Oxlade, aka Matt Simplified. We got a lot of great feedback from that show. Got a lot of new followers, a lot of new subscribers on YouTube, fucking a lot of listens. So super stoked for that. And it was one of those relationships. I will say, I feel incredibly close to the guy. I think we were both gushing in the show. I think you could pick that up nicely. And I just felt incredibly connected to the guy. It was the kind of relationship, like we've physically seen each other in real life, that is. Like we've been having some sort of blossoming online relationship, but never in real life. So going to tee up that real beer, and we're going to have a real good social time together. But let me explain the relationship. I feel like I've got with him, right, is if I was to go to prison, right, for quite a few years, I don't know, something sinister, maybe armed robbery or something like that. I don't know if I'd have the gall to murder anybody. I think there's, some sort of, something about armed robbery. I really like armed robbery movies. So, yeah, we're going to go with that one tonight. And he's in there, and I walk in. We walk into the yard. He's on the yard. He's pumping away on the weight bench because he's been in there before me, right, because he's been doing some bad shit. And I feel like I look around, I'm scanning at all the screws, all the guards, all the cons, all the fucking homies, shivs, all that stuff, what's going on, scanning, and I see Matt. I lock eyes with Matt, and we just go. And we know that if a gang fight breaks out at that time, we've got each other's backs. So that's the kind of relationship I feel like we're working towards. A really, watch each other's back in prison kind of relationship. But fuck me dead, I'm excited to be here tonight. I really really miss the podcast when I don't get to do it. And as I said, I hadn't intended to not record. I had some guests that I've sort of didn't have to cancel any shows, but I haven't sort of got back to and had to sort of put on hiatus. And then my own guest shows, like I've got fucking millions of notes in. They keep fucking backing up. And some of them are almost like redundant because they're 2 weeks old, because the weekly show is just, one of those things where it's hot, it's fresh, it's up to date news, but not that fucking mainstream media shit. The good news, I'm joined tonight, H2O, need it badly, and not a beer. I've actually got a Mount Franklin lightly sparkling passion fruit, hint of natural flavour. I needed something. I needed a fizz. I was going to crack a beer, but I've been sick, and I didn't want to do that. I've got to rest my body. Health is wealth, right? So I've got to rest the body. So yeah, I'm going to have a little sip because my throat is quite dry, my chest quite tight. Oh, it's nice. Just a hint. I would say I could do with more of a splash than a hint. It's a little bit weak, but yeah, So stoked to be back. Episode 132. It's 8:49 p.m. on the 14th of March. Just looking at my date here, sorry. It's hidden behind the tripod. I'm wearing a hat because my hair's a bit wet and stuff's going on. Sitting here with an unauthorized Metallica shirt. And mine's for molding. That's all I need. That's all I really need. But I've missed you. What's been happening the last 2 weeks? As I said, I'll go back. No weekend breakdown. A last 2 week breakdown. It's going to be good. And we've got heaps of shit to talk about tonight. I mean, people have died. There's been wars. There's been natural disasters. It's fucked up. Really fucked up. Petrol prices disgustingly through the roof. What the fuck is going on? The government being absolute shit cunts. This has been all apparent over the last 2 weeks. But we'll go through that list after it. Let's go back. As I said, I did the last podcast with Maddie on the Monday night, and I come off that on an absolute high. It was a great podcast. I was feeling super, super awesome about it. You know, cut it up, edit it, posted the audio on the Monday, posted the video on the Tuesday. Work is absolutely cranking. And apologies tonight if I do a little bit. I've got a little bit of the frog in the throat, and I figure you guys, the loyal Kingsmen and Kingswomen, can deal with a bit of a frog in the throat as opposed to not dealing with another week and no shows. So I'm battling on. The show must go on, as Freddie Mercury would say. And that's the kind of guy I am. So anyway, finished on a high with Maddie, had a great week at work, had a list about a mile long of all the things I wanted to do. You know, heaps of interaction with fucking the audience on that last episode, and I was just fucking absolutely hammering it. Couple little cheeky drinks here and there. Just one of those things, you know, feeling really good about it. And Thursday rolls around, I'm going to the bottle right? I've got annual leave next week off, 5 working days off, but 7 days off. I'm ready to send it. Family coming from Brisbane. I'm really excited about it. Our annual holiday has been sort of smashed to bits, but my family have done me a solid and they're coming up to visit us because, you know, we live beachside. We've basically got what the city goers want at our doorstep. So I go down to the bottle-o, Dan Murphy, shout out, take the black card. I bought a carton of beer. I fucked up initially, though. I bought Furphy's over Asahi. I've been drinking Asahi a lot lately. I like Furphy's, and they put the price up of Asahi. It's a real big no-no in my book. I had a sweet spot, $47.95. Don't fuck with it, right? Do not fuck with the price. Anyway, I don't know why. Thrown a Hail Mary up, and I got the Furphy's, right? Instantly, you know, I didn't feel right about it, but whatever. I've then picked up couple of bottles of pink because I love that shit. I don't care who knows it. I picked up a couple of bottles of rosé, really good bottles of rosé. Actually, 3 bottles of rosé, a bottle of white, and 2 bottles of pink. So I picked up 6 bottles, right? Beck goes, just stock up for the week. I thought, yeah, 6 bottles in a carton. That should be all right. That should be good. You know what I mean? Bit of lolly water at night. Loving it. A couple of harsh Furfies in the day. Loving it. A couple of schooners around at the local haunts. Loving it. Anyway, get home on the Thursday. Why not? Like, you're not going to have a beer. So I cracked a couple of beers. I'm feeling good. Fuck it. It's Thursday. You know what I mean? I will say, I love having a drink on a Thursday. It's Thirsty Thursday. It's in the name. Thursday. It's in the name. So I'm absolutely stoked, right? It's like the entree to Friday. So then Friday rolls around. I'm like, you beauty. Last day at work. The motivation is absolutely high. The inspiration is flowing out of me. I'm fucking ticking off the to-do list like there's no one's fucking business. And I get to about 4 o'clock. Mind you, my mum and my grandparents have left this point, right? It's fucking belting down rain here at the Sunshine Coast. It's pissing down in Brisbane. And I'm going, I can't believe we're on holidays next week. My fucking backyard is flooding. Like, I'm walking around. I've got a sausage dog. He's out there in a snorkel trying to take a piss. It's a scene, you know? And then my mum's like, look, we're fucking not getting there anytime soon. Turns out it took them 4 hours to fucking get here. I'm finishing up work, wrapping it up. Keep working. I will say, I just hit a wall at about 5:45, 6 p.m. I'm trying to tidy up work. I'm working overtime because I'm that sort of guy. And I've just hit a wall. I've cracked a Furphy. And I'm just like at that point, I'm like, I don't know if I'm really lethargic and tired because I'm just staring at this screen, or I'm feeling a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to drink my pain away, right? So I just kept cracking Furphies. Next thing, my grandparents and my mum have got here, and it was good. It took them 4 hours to get from Brisbane. It's an hour and a half trip. It took them 4 hours to get here, right? First red flag. My pop's always giving me beers, right? Shout out my pop. I'm always talking about how he's always giving me beers. I probably owe the guy the equivalent of like 50 full cartons over my life. Maybe even 100 full cartons. I don't know. Like, I don't have a problem, but I have drunk a lot of his 4X Gold over time, right? So anyway, he walks in. Can I get your bags? Is you all good? Can I get your drink? Whatever. You want to take a piss? Hey, I've got a carton of beer. You want a beer? He goes, I'm not drinking. I was just like, mortified. I was like, oh shit, this is the first red flag. I will say he's just about turned 89 in May. You know, he's had a few health issues over the last couple of years, so he's not getting any younger, right? But I was just super stoked. I really look forward to having a beer with him, and I know he looks forward to having a beer with me too. So it was a bit of a fucking shit. I feel bad for him, you know what I mean? I was like, well, whatever. You know, they're all a bit pissed from being in the car for 4 hours, but I really appreciated the fact that they came here early, right? A night early. My other side of the family, well, my auntie and uncle, my cousins, were coming on the Sunday, right? This is Friday night. Set the scene. Fuck it, whatever. I'm feeling good. I don't give a fuck who knows it. So I'm keep cracking in the Furfies. I'm feeling that good. That is Friday night, which means we're cracking some fucking pink, right? So I've cracked some pink, and I'm feeling good about it. Like, I'm feeling really good about it. Cracking it, having a good time. Anyway, I naturally did my stone cold stunner and just stayed up way too late on my own. And I think I was up to like, no, it was not. This was later in the week. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Wake up on Saturday, still pissing down. Absolutely fucking thundering down. The fucking street is turned into a swimming pool. Brisbane is like slowly going underwater. It hadn't even made its way to northern New South Wales yet. Unbeknownst to them, no one even thought it was going to flood in Brisbane. That was the thing. It was just like, oh yeah, it's going to rain. We had floods in 2011, and before that it was 1974. So statistically, we should be okay. And I believe that statistic too. I thought, we should be okay, you know, not taking into account climate change and all that sort of stuff, you know. Anyway, I don't know what it was, but I just didn't feel myself. I just didn't feel myself on the Saturday. I still tried to power through, have a couple of beers and stuff like that. I was hanging out with the family. You know, it was the first day, so it was like, it was good. It was fun. But we're sort of all on top of each other. And I'll set the scene later, because when you're in the house with like 4 different generations, there are some blatantly obvious differences, hey, that really kind of get on each other's nerves after a while, right? And I'm a family man. I can come out and say that. I am a family man. But there are some really not so subtle differences between generations. So anyway, didn't feel that good coming into Saturday night, right? I think on the Saturday, I've gone out for a drive with him. That was about it. He's a bit morbid, right? You know, and I feel bad because, like, at this age, and, like, stay with me here, but, like, anytime you mention one of his friends, right, he's like, he's got a friend up here, right? Oh, I got to see if, you know, Graham is about, oh, this is his number. Of course, he has a phone, but he doesn't put any of his numbers in the phone. Pulls out an old bit of fucking paper from the 1800s. It's got a scribbled out landline on it. You're like, oh, no. And in fairness, it had a mobile number too, but he was going straight for the landline. That makes sense to him, you know, on this old ass piece of paper. He's got about 4,000 bits of paper in his wallet. It was as big as George Costanza's. It was the biggest thing I've ever seen, you know what I mean? He's going to throw his back out when he sits on it. Anyway, like, just didn't feel good, you know what I mean? Going for a drive, pissing down. Everyone's worried about driving in the rain. I frankly like driving in the rain. Maybe not like blasting 120 on the highway, but just around the streets. I love seeing the beaches. I love seeing what Mother Nature does to the world, you know what I mean? And I respect Mother Nature. It's one of those things, like, I appreciate how small the world can make you feel at points in time. And natural disasters are a really good show of that, you know what I mean? Just going to pop my chair up here because I feel like I'm fucking falling down, and I'm a short dude anyway. So anyway, he's going, oh, I've got to call Graham. He didn't answer. He's probably dead. Anytime you mention a friend that he hasn't talked to in a while, they're probably dead, you know what I mean? I'm like, fuck, that must play on him, you know? I was thinking about it all across the week. I was like, you know, I never think about if I can't get a hold of Milky or Stu or Scotty or Jordan or any of these guys, I'm going, probably dead, you know what I mean? Probably kick the bucket. Like, you don't think like that at 33 years of age. At 88, you think like that, apparently. So I don't know if that's a pessimistic way to live, but I mean, stats have shown that he has lost a lot of friends to death. So yeah, one of those things. So I'm not going to begrudge the guy, but all good. I had a shitload of documentaries lined up for him. There was the Lions Dynasty on the AFL app on Telstra TV. Huge shout out to Telstra TV. That really saved my hide with him for a few days. Unbeknownst to me, there was just reruns of the premierships, games, highlights from everything, all these things. It was like, he was like a kid on Christmas. He was absolutely loving it, you know. So I put that on for him. Of course, we watched the Shane Warne documentary. How were we to know that, like, a week later he was going to pass away? Another thing that's happened in this past fortnight that completely shocked me, right? And we all watched my whole family watched the Shane documentary. It was such a good documentary, and it was just like one of those things that was just like, when I saw it in the news, I couldn't believe it. I mean, rest in peace, Shane Warne. We'll cover that again because that was one of those other things we'll want to talk a bit to it later. But Jesus Christ, it was just a shocking thing. But anyway, we were watching that, going, this is a great documentary. Watch all the sport documentaries. It was an 8-part Ashes series on there. So slow, so boring. I mean, not too bad, but like 8 hours of Ash's documentary. Oh, he loved it. You know what I mean? But not for me. Not for me. That was one big difference. Not a massive cricket fan. I love Shane Warne and some of those greats. I appreciate that. I appreciate the character, the showman, not so much the sport. And I have a quick drink here because I'm drying out and I'm talking like an absolute lunatic. And I don't give a fuck because it's my show. So anyway, could do with more passion fruit. So anyway, that was Saturday night. I didn't crack any wine on Saturday night. First red flag for me getting sick. When I start going, not feeling too good, my bursitis in my right shoulder, right, it just started flaring up, right? And I don't know what it was. It just was killing me. Now, I had been doing a fuckload of push-ups that week, right? I'm not going to the gym, and I made the decision I'm going to go back to a gym or do some sort of fitness, right, regime. And I was like, well, at least I can do is just keep my stretching up and stuff like that and just start with 50 to 100 push-ups a day. And for 100 push-ups a day. So I'd probably done like 300 or 400 push-ups over the week, right? Not gloating, that's just facts. And by Saturday night, the shoulder's killing me. I've got some deep heat on it. I've got the heat pack on it. Even though I actually had ice on it on that. I don't know why, but I like to ice it up so it goes numb and it feels better for me. But I do know that the heat works as well. I don't really know what's better for it, you know what I mean? Anyway, Sunday rolls around. I sort of lost a blow. There was a 48-hour period there where my pain in my shoulder traveled through my upper back and I was just in agony. Like to the point where I woke up, I think it was either Sunday or Monday morning, and I was just like nearly in tears. I was like covered in deep heat. I'm showering at like fucking dawn, right? Just trying to get the heat in me. I want heat packs. What's going on? I'm fucking taking Panamax fucking before I've even had a fucking egg in the morning, you know what I mean? I'm just like wilding out. It was ridiculous. What the fuck's going on to me? You know what I mean? I've done 400 push-ups this week. My whole body's falling apart. How am I going to get back and just fucking hit the gym all chest, no legs next week? Anyway, that then just changed to like huge full-on body aches over the week. We'll go through my sickness and what I think I had, right? And everyone's probably sitting there going, you've got COVID, dude. You've got fucking the COVID-19. Well, it turns out it wasn't, you know what I mean? Unless the PCR tests are wrong and the rat tests are all wrong, but we'll talk about the testing system. What a system. But I woke up Sunday morning, must have been Monday, I was in pure agony, but I woke up Sunday morning, I was like, I've got this feeling that my auntie and uncle aren't going to make it here. Not because they don't want to, but because the Bruce Highway's fucking washed out, right? And if you can't make it through, you can't make it through, right? They're not driving a speedboat up here. Anyway, they call us, they were like, look, we're stoked and we want to come, but the fucking road's washed out, and so is Steve Irwin. I was like, well, you physically can't get here. I was like, just hang it, you know what I mean? Like, the owners of the Airbnb accommodation have said, look, we're happy to give you a 12-month like extension, refund, whatever you want, you know what I mean? So they got a good deal on it, so they've just like extended it. My mum and everyone's just extended it. And it was just one of those things. I was like, fuck, you know what I mean? The rain's not slowing down. It's like 100%. It was the heaviest rain I've ever seen up here. Probably the heaviest rain Brisbane's ever experienced, like in my life anyway. And it was just one of those fucking things. I'm like, the fucking holidays, right? You plan holidays. My last 3 holidays, first holiday, go to the Gold Coast, shitty weather of the week, you have to take Arabella to the hospital. No good, right? Fucking second holiday. Christmas holidays, it's manic, it's full on. Had a full on panic attack over those holidays. Fun, awesome. You're opening presents, you're having a beer. Next thing you're fucking talking yourself off the ledge because your chest's about to fucking beat out your heart and you think you're going to fucking not make it through tomorrow. And this one, the fucking Mother Nature has just gone, fuck you. Like, I'm going to drown Queensland, right? And then I'm going to get you sick. And it got me fucking good. It really got me good, right? So I'm sitting there going, Monday night rolls around, fuck it, we're going to do the potty. I will say I'm feeling not shitty, but I'm feeling okay, right? So we go down to Moffat Beach, and I've just got like this fine layer of sweat across my body. You know when you're like, it's hot, but I shouldn't have like sweat from fucking brow to toe, you know what I mean? Just a thin layer like ice over my body. And I'm in this mindset of going, I refuse to believe that I'm getting sick. I refuse to believe that I'm getting sick. I am healthy. We go to a place to get some lunch. Wasn't too bad. Actually, it was pretty shit. Fish tacos were shit. Who puts pesto on a fish taco? As far as I know, the Mexicans are not famous for their pesto. They're famous for salsa and things like that, not pesto. Check your menu if you're listening to this show. Local establishment. I'm not going to name a shame out of respect. But I didn't like the vibe of the waiter. It was just one of those things. I've gone, fuck this. I'm getting a Japanese heads lager. I mean, you can't fuck up a tap beer, so that was really, really delicious. And I ate the food and whatever. It was all good. But Monday evening, wasn't feeling good. Just had no energy, like super fucking body achy, but just no energy. Like, if I feel like I could normally fight 10 men, I was fighting one man that night. Like, I was no champion. I was not in the championship stages. Like, I couldn't go championship rounds. Like, no way. Like, I'd have to end a street fight with a knockout. That was my vibe. Anyway, I did miss something out. We caught up with Stu at Brouhaha. Shout out Disco Stu. That was awesome. And I can only have 2 beers, right, because I was driving, which is okay, so it's a legal thing. But I come home, I was like, look, I've got to go lie down. Like, whoever has 2 schooners and goes, I've got to lie down. It was like I was 88 all of a sudden, you know what I mean? And everything was just fucking going wrong in my life. So I wasn't feeling good at all. And that was it. I just got progressively worse over the week. The rain persisted. The holidays being cancelled. My mum and my grandparents are now not staying with me for one night. They're staying with me for 5 or 6 nights, right? All good. They can stay here. But that's when the whole generational gap started appearing, right? They don't want to do anything because, you know, like, that they always think, oh, we don't have so much money, but it's fucking shitty weather and stuff like that. They never go to the beach anyway, but they're like, basically go to the pogies. That's it. He couldn't see his friend because his friend was out of town. And that was sort of it. And they're just constantly watching the news. Like, they're just watching the news. Now, the mainstream media are absolutely coming in their pants because for the first time after 2 years, they don't have to talk about COVID. They can just go, they're like, oh, yes, Ukraine and a natural disaster in a fortnightly period. This is fucking heaven. They're going, all our Christmases have come at once. And the new beauty, once this fucks off, we know there's going to be a new variant that we can fucking ram down the fucking throats of Australia's viewers. They're so excited about it. So they were absolutely just coming in their pants. Koshi, Carl Stefanovic, Mel, all those people that do that. I've got no love for the journos, you know what I mean? I just got no love for them. They're part of the problem of the fucking mainstream media. And yeah, but it's like, if you've seen one bit of flood, you don't need to continue to watch it for 3 hours and then switch to ABC News and then switch to something else because it's the same fucking dross over and over and over, right? And the thing that gets me with the fucking journos too, they're out there wearing like their fucking shirts that are tucked in, and you know they've probably got a set of R.M. Williams on in the car, right? They take them off to put on their fucking giant wellies. They get out there in their stupid fucking raincoats, and then they just go and fucking bother people as opposed to like helping people. They're like, get in these fucking poor people's faces, you know, people that have like lost everything and their house is just like inside of a toilet. It's dank, it's disgusting. They've got fucking mud in the walls and they're going, I'm not going to fucking get this shit out until fucking next year. And they're going in their fucking face, you know, trudging through fucking water going, how do you feel, Mary? I know you've been in Auchenflower since 2011. How do you feel? It must be devastating. You've lost everything again. And it's like, yeah, no, thanks. Yeah, I feel really good about it. Could you put down the mic and pick up a shovel and help me get the shit out of my house, you fucking prat? So, yeah, not a big fan of mainstream media. So that was it, and they just kept watching the news, and it was like, I can't do this. I love you guys, but I can't do this. Every time the news was on, I'd fuck off. I'd have to leave. I'd have to go watch like YouTube or play my guitar, read a book, or just do something, play with Arabella, do something else. I just couldn't get into it, man. So that was it. So they were up here the whole week, and you know we hit a couple of local taverns and things like that, and had some schooners. And I tell you what, I just kept getting okay, but then getting sicker. The shoulder pain and the back pain went away. Then it just turned into full body aches. I had no energy, zero energy. And then later in the week, kicked off into like 3 days of just like solid headaches. I got no sniffles. I got no chest stuff at that point. I've now got the chesty bullshit. By Wednesday, I'm going, I've got to get a rat test, you know what I mean? Fucking $20 down at Chemist Warehouse. What an absolute rort. They should be free. So we go and, you know, do that. And I'm spewing because I've had to fucking spend money on it. I could have gone and got a PCR test, but I'm thinking, this has got to be COVID. Surely it's got to be COVID. I'll stick that fucking rod up my nose and we'll get a fucking positive result. Turns out it wasn't COVID, and it was just me jamming a fucking rod in my nose for fun, which isn't very much fun at all, right? So I was a bit gutted about that. Anyway, I just couldn't get well. I just could not get well. And it was one of those things. Every time I felt like I got well, it was sweet. On the Friday, they've then gone, right? They've gone home. We dropped Arabella to daycare. Beck and I were like, let's go to lunch. Let me backpedal just one bit. It was great to spend time with my family. It was really great to spend time with my family. My cousins came up. I will say I absolutely fucking sent it on the Tuesday night. I was feeling pretty good. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this. They had pints up at the local. They had 15 beer taps, right? Awesome shit. What do they put on special? VB. I'm not a snob. I'm going to drink VB. It was an $8 pint. I walk in. I'm loving Asahi. I said, how much for your pint of Asahi? Knowing full well it's an $8 VB there. They're like $12.90. I'm like, well, the finance guru in me is going for the VB, so please give me fucking Victoria's finest, right? So I've necked a couple of those, gone home. I thought, you know what? I've got a bottle of rosé in there. My cousins are here. One of them was like, yeah, I'll have a drink with you. I thought, if someone's having a drink with me, I'm going to have a drink with them. I'm going to do them a nice solid. So we cracked it, feeling good. She probably had about 4 glasses at like 10, 11 o'clock, I'm feeling really good, right? I'm thinking, fuck, I've had a couple of VBs, a few rosés, feeling really good. You know what? I'll crack another one because we're having a good time. So I've then proceeded to basically finish a bottle of rosé on my own. I'm sitting there at like 2 o'clock on Wednesday morning doing this. I'm watching it missed in between. And I'm like, fuck, I should probably go to bed here right now. Arabella was going to daycare for a few hours the next day. The girls were going out and I had the duty to look after the grandparents. And I thought, look, I can do that with a hangover if I need. But I was like, I'm not going to get a hangover. Rosé never gives me a hangover. Let me fast forward a few hours because I had the mother of all headaches for a good 6 hour period, right? I was just necking fucking Panamax like they were Tic Tacs and drinking water, cut out of bed at like 10 o'clock. So I was taking full advantage of being a lazy cunt. That was 100% adamant, and for sure you could notice that from a mile away. My grandparents didn't care because, you know, like 88-year-olds, like they do a lot of like in bed, out of bed sort of stuff, a lot of reading, a lot of just chilling, a lot of sitting down, a lot of sitting. So anyway, it was one of those things, but it was great to see them. I felt really bad that holiday got fucked up. I was annoyed that ours got fucked up. I was annoyed that I was sick. It was just one of those things. So anyway, fast forward to Friday, they've all gone. And yeah, I'm just cruising. Beck and I got a Sushi Dragon. Shout out Sushi Dragon at Maroochydore. It was so fucking good. If you ever want to sponsor me, I'm down. Oh, say something about sponsors at the end there. Anyway, we'll talk to that another time. It just was a brain fart I had. I write so many things down, and I feel like I'm talking about so much stuff here, and I could talk about so much more, but I forget. Sushi Dragon, so good. I've cracked an acai, feeling good, having an absolute romantic lunch with Beck. Paid, graphic warning, not safe for work here. I've walked about 30 feet. The guts have turned. Everything's just caught up with me. The Panamax has caught up with me. The shitty lack of food diet that I've been having because I've lost my appetite at this point. But I thought, you know what? I love sushi and it's good for you, I think. So, necked it, neck and acai, 30 feet away. And I'm just like, I don't feel good. So, yeah. Had to do a mad dash, the big top toilet. And it was pretty close. I will say that. Very graphic. Pretty close. Really worried for a second there. But we come away good. It was a success story. And that was it. I was like, Beck, I just don't feel good. You know, I feel okay, but then I feel shit. Literal shit here today, but I feel really shit. And I just kept getting tired and lethargic. I'm back at work Monday. We had a race day on the Sunday. It was so hot. It was like 36 degrees up here. It reminded me of being in Las Vegas, right? There's a biannual race day that Beck's cousins put on. One of his cousins passed away, unfortunately, from cancer, which was absolutely horrible. So they do like a race day every 2 years, which is like a really nice way to sort of raise funds and things like that. And they did raise funds, and it was really good. Dreams to Live For Foundation and the Cooper Rice Braiding Foundation. If you ever feel like donating some money, they're two great causes. But yeah, it was just one of those things, and I was feeling well enough to be social, but I wasn't feeling well enough to just neck beers like it was going out of fashion, right? I paid $120 for a ticket, so it was all you could drink, right? I had 2 schooners, 2 Shackles lagers, unreal. I've then switched to a Byron Bay just to see what it tastes like on tap. Shit, couldn't even finish it. I knew at that point I was really quite under the weather because I'm like, I'd always finish it. I then switched to James Squire's ginger beer, had like 3 ginger beers, right? Someone was streaming the UFC. I've then gone and watched the UFC. I'm playing with Arabella. The whole time I've not been able to put my jacket on. I'm just absolutely wringing wet with sweat. You know what I mean? Borrowed some of Stewie's pants. I've had to dry clean, and there's still sweat. I can't get them out. Don't know how to get the fucking sweat secretions out. He's going to be furious. But I'm absolutely wringing wet. Took the fucking loud shirt off. You know what I mean? It was a scene. Come home, hydrolytes, Panadol, all this sort of stuff. I didn't want to take Panadol because I don't like taking it every day, so I'd had pretty much like 5 or 6 days on it, you know. Anyway, Monday I'm back at work, right? We'll get up in the morning, all good, you know what I mean? I think I might have 1 beer, right? And at this point, I'm just in that mindset where I'm like, no, I'm not sick still. I'm still not sick. It's okay. It's just bullshit, you know what I mean? It wasn't COVID. We thought it was, but it wasn't COVID. Anyway, Monday rolls around to work, not feeling 100%. I'm feeling 60%, right? I got 1,000 emails, trying to go through it all. Tuesday rolls around, feeling a lot better, right? It's probably because I had 5 or 6 drinks on the Sunday. Feeling a lot better Tuesday. Tuesday night, 1 o'clock, wake up in a pool of sweat. And I was just fucking out of it, hey. I was just like, what the fuck? Wednesday, call work, said, look, I'm not coming in. I feel like fucking death warmed up. I will say on the Tuesday morning, I've got a PCR test so I could get the results right. Because on the Monday, I made a doctor's appointment for today, right? So anyway, I've got to rant about doctors, but that's I can't rant about doctors. I'm already half an hour in here. We can't rant another time. But yeah, I feel like in this day and age, like if it's not COVID, even the doctors are just like, huh? Like COVID symptoms? What? Like it's not COVID? What do we do? Anyway, I went into the Clandra hospital, a little small sort of hospital, and just a real dickhead of a process, like go in, do all the bullshit on the phone. It's like if you've got a sniffle, you got a fever, you got a headache, you got this, you got COVID. Bang! Regardless of your negative test, you got COVID probably. That's the fucking diagnosis, right? Go in there, talk to this one bird. She's taking my temperature, doing this. Can't see anybody, but she's doing this. They're behind fucking perspex glass and all this sort of stuff. Fuck it, I am gonna rant. And she's like, looks a lot and sounds a lot like COVID. I was like, yeah, I know, but like I did the PCR test just out the driveway yesterday and it was negative, right? I was like, and I was honestly, I was pretty gutted. I was absolutely gutted it wasn't COVID because I was sick like 6-7 weeks ago and I was pretty fucked. So I'm just readjusting myself here. And I was pretty fucked with the flu for like 3 or 4 days, maybe even a week, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? That wasn't COVID. Then this time wasn't COVID. And what is going on? So I was like, I had all my eggs in the COVID basket. I mean, I've got COVID. Done, dusted, good, bang, cool. You know what I mean? Got the vaccine, and I'm there sitting cursing the vaccine after a few days. I'm like, if this is the protection it's giving me, what the fuck is the point of having it? You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather fucking try my chances without it. Anyway, that's a discussion for another time. But yeah, go there. They take a few details and they go, well, look, because you've like got COVID symptoms, we can't actually have you in here. So the chick right here who could help you right now is going to call you when you're back in the car. She's going to fill out the rest of the information and then the doctor's going to call you. So I get in the fucking car. I drive out to a man-made tent that they've got sitting out the front there. Park up. 10 minutes later, this chick calls me, asks me a fucking further lot of questions that are basically the same as this chick's asked me. Then 10 minutes later, the doctor calls me. I will say they were pretty quick. That was a plus. Then the doctor calls me and she's going, yeah, geez, it sounds a lot like COVID. I was like, I know it sounds a lot like COVID, but I've tested negative, so it can't be COVID, right? Unless your PCR and rat tests are total dog shit, then yes, it could be COVID, right? But surely the doctors believe in their own testing system. I don't know if they do, though. So I'm out there, she's calling me. She's like, well, it could be this, could be that, could be Ross River fever, could be dengue fever, I know there's a fucking mosquito virus that's going around, all this sort of shit, could be influenza. I'm like, well, geez, wouldn't a perfect world be so nice to get in there face to face and get some of these fucking stethoscopes and some fucking paddle pops in my mouth to check my tonsils and all that sort of stuff that you doctors do. That'd be great. That'd be really good to do that. Anyway, they didn't do that. Hey, look, you just need to rest, you need to hydrate. I was like, love, I drink like 3 liters of water a day, you know what I mean? I was like, I can't hydrate much more. She's like, oh, just keep it up, you know what I mean? Get the Panadol in and blah, blah, blah. But I will say, that's what I did. So Wednesday, Thursday, fucked. I felt shit. Friday morning, not so bad, but still felt pretty shit. Like I hit a wall. I was like, God, you know what I mean? Friday night. So I was basically just like, fuck this. Panadol, Nurofen, water. I was eating fruit, just eating all the good shit. You know what I mean? Drinking as much as I could. Just rested, doing absolutely nothing. Like to the point where I was like, I was sick of doing nothing. When you just like, it seems so fun to just sit on your ass for like a period of time. I've sat on my ass enough this year. Like I'm done with ass sitting, And that was it. I was just like, I got to the point where I was basically just taking 2 Panadol, 2 Nurofen in the morning at 9 o'clock or whenever I was waking up, banging out till 5, taking another 4, right? That seemed to work. I haven't had a fever since Saturday evening, and I had to go to the GP today, which is another small rant there. I won't go on about it, but basically they were insinuating that I had COVID again, had to isolate in the room, had to get a fucking rat test done again this morning, even though I did one last week. It was this whole fucking scene. It's a crazy thing, this system. Hey, you go and get a test, it's negative, but you show symptoms that look like that thing. Not to mention there's probably a million other things in the world that have those symptoms. I mean, if you type in fever, shit, at one point last week I thought I had Ross River fever. Another point I had hepatitis A until Beck had to come down the next day and be like, you do not have hepatitis A. Do you know how you catch hepatitis A? I didn't read how you catch hepatitis A, but I thought I had hepatitis A there for a good 8-hour period, right? I thought, surely that's it. I'm not a doctor, but I know hepatitis A when I see it. Wasn't hepatitis A. And that was it. And the doctor goes today, look, you could have this stuff. You could have this thing. I think it was called cytomegalovirus, right? Fatigue, fevers, headaches, sore throat, all the bullshit, loss of appetite, weight loss, all this stuff. I will say, getting sick is a great way to shed some pounds. I've probably lost like 3 or 4 kilos. Just, my face looks a lot better because I've been off the sauce all week. I had 1 beer on Saturday. Had like 6 non-alcoholic beers over the weekend because I thought I was going to catch up with Stu. Still had wishful thinking of, doing fucking social things and stuff like that. But anyway, yeah, that was sort of it. Got it done today. Feeling a lot better. I haven't had Panadol since Sunday morning. So I'm back on the mic. I'm really, really fucking having a good time. It's been so long. I had a lot of people hit me up for solo episodes. Hey, they're like, well, we fucking love the guests. We're having a sick time with the guests, but we just appreciate the ranting, the raving, the absolute lunacy of a solo episode. So get on the mic, King, and just go fucking ballistic. So that was my last 2 weeks. I won't be taking a holiday for a while, but very grateful for my health. I will say, when you hit a wall and you go, I feel really quite ill here. You know what I mean? Like, my body is not working like I know it could work. It just G'd me up and inspired me so much more to go, fuck, I've got to treat this a bit better, you know what I mean? So that's why I'm on the no sugar sparkling hint of passion fruit juice tonight. I've got the ice water with the Himalayan sea salt for all that sort of stuff. But the doc was cool. I'll tell you what he said. He didn't tell me to rest and hydrate and all that sort of bullshit, because he knows I'm not a fucking moron. He knows I've got to do that. But I'm feeling a lot better. But he goes, 2,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I was like, just got some 2 days ago. Thanks very much. He goes, well, 1,000 mil in the morning, 1,000 mil in the evening. Loving it. He goes, want some vitamin D? He goes, best thing, get naked in the sun. The doc was a big fan of the fucking perennial tanning. He liked the anus right up to the sun. He didn't say those words, but I knew that's what he was getting at, right? So, yeah, that's something else. I told my mum on the phone this afternoon that's a thing. And I did. At about 1:30, 2 o'clock this afternoon, I walked out to the backyard. Neighbours, if you're listening, I walked out to the backyard. I've got 1 2-story house here that looks down, and I know the guy works, you know, so I wasn't too worried about that. I'm frankly not worried about other people seeing my body, trying to add a little bit of respect. But I was like, you know, at the end of the day, I was like, fuck them. This is my life, and it's my health on the line here, right? And it's my backyard. If you're going to be a peeping Tom looking into my backyard, you're going to see my dick and balls and butt here, eh? So I just walked out, took my pants off, left my hat on, and I'm on the phone, so I'm having a chat to Milky at the time. And yeah, got a chair, put a towel over it out of respect, you know, because bum stuff on the chair. Got a towel. That was it. And I sat out there about 10 minutes and I felt rejuvenated. Like, I'm actually excited to wake up tomorrow and can't wait for the sun. I'm going to get my dick and balls and butt out there again. And then he said, take zinc, you know what I mean? He said, don't take too much. I had started taking zinc like every day, but he's like, well, just take it every second day. It's a heavy metal. You don't need that much of it, but every second day does a trick. That was his thing. He's like, fucking Bob's your uncle. So I'm just going to keep going good on that. I'm going to try and stay off the beers till like Thursday or Friday. Got a fucking kid and Beck free weekend, Beck and Arabella free weekend. I'm excited about it, a little bit sad as well. They're going to Sydney. We'll talk about that next week, how I felt about it, do a full breakdown on my feelings. But yeah, I'm already like upset and FOMO'd because like I'm not going on the plane and I'm not going to see Arabella have a first time on the plane. Because she's like my little princess, she's my little girl, so I'm a bit gutted about that. I'm excited that they get to have a bit of a girls' weekend away, but I know by like Sunday evening, and I've got Jared going around to watch the footy, thank God, but I know like I'd be caressing Frank and just being like, oh, we're so alone right now, we need our girls back. So I'm that sort of guy, you know. So look, that's my last 2 weeks and it's been hectic, and I'm so sorry that I didn't get to do a podcast because I didn't even have a low vibe. I had no vibe. I was vibeless. So it would have been shit shows. I wouldn't have been having this energy. And I couldn't do it. Frankly. I wasn't going on stage. There's no way I was going on stage. But anyway, I've got a few other things to talk about. I've got a questionnaire, which is kind of like a scenario, which is interesting. I've got some song recommendation. I've got some movie and TV shows. And I want to talk about Pam and Tommy and sex tapes, right? So we're fucking rocketing along here. 37 and a half minutes. Gonna take another drink of this. Pretty good. The floods. Shout out people that have done it tough in the floods the last couple of weeks, because it's fucked. I always went through the 2011 floods. We didn't lose anything, but I remember helping a lot of people like fix up their houses and throw shit out. And it's just messy, shitty. You lose stuff. You know, you have to throw out stuff. There's a smell that comes with floods. It's disgusting. Not to mention like the pee and poop and dead things and that get around there, so you get sick naturally. It's just it's a fucking scene. And then to put the fucking cherry on top, the government didn't want to help at all. And then the extra cherry on top is then you got to call insurance and go, hey, listen, like my house is flooded. Can I get all that money I pay month to month? And have some fucking idiot on the other end. And I go, nah, we're gonna make you jump through 73 hoops here. That generally is, as far as I know, I'm sure that's how they do it. I'm sure not all insurance companies are bad. That's a common misconception about insurance companies. If you ever want to sponsor me, I'm interested. But yeah, the floods was shit. So Queensland copped it. I know like a little bit of Sunny Coast copped it. Gold Coast copped it. And then Northern New South Wales well and truly copped it. They were fucked. And the biggest thing was that like there was this video circulating on the internet after like a week or so. And it was someone had come around the corner and caught footage of the Australian Army filming themselves basically like just all prop stage stuff, like filling a trailer, unloading a trailer, filling a trailer, loading a trailer, and just doing shit like that, just basic sort of stuff. I will say the Army, right, as fucked up as it sounds, I got a cousin in the Army and he's a good dude, but like they're like yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full kind of people, right? They go into that line of work to be told 100% what to do. Hey, listen, we're going to need you to go to Afghanistan and fucking blow some shit up, right? Yeah, cool, no worries. Going to need you to go to Russia, Ukraine, Iraq, wherever it is. Go to Lismore and fucking pretend. There's things like that they're going to be told to do. So I don't think that, I can't blame them 100%. I do think it'd be fucking hard to go there and not offer help, because from all accounts, I follow a lot of different pages. A lot of people are saying, look, we saw a lot of army here eventually, but they were doing fuck all, right? So I don't know what like the whole advice from the government was, but it wasn't one of a good one. And Scott Morrison, Scotty from marketing, it absolutely roasted on his Instagram. He basically put up a photo, God love him. He had COVID, right? So he was fucked for like a week, right? So he's offline. He's off the Twitter. He's off the Instagram. He's and I had the fucking psycho megalovirus. Like it's got a better name than COVID too. Like I'm way too mainstream to get, I'm way too fucking hip to get COVID. Psycho megalovirus. You know what I mean? I'll fucking show you fatigue. So he's just got absolutely roasted on his Instagram, right? He's put the photo up, these doctored images. Basically, like you have a look at it. There's this one dude like loading milk. There's so much milk. I was like, why don't they need all this milk? Surely it's going to go off. There's no power, right? Have they got like ice fridges and stuff like that? I don't know, but I thought water might be more important than like 4,000 liters of milk. But I could have been wrong, you know what I mean? Baby formula might have been better, Anyway, then that same dude is then doing hay bales and stuff like that. So this guy's all over the shop. No one's covered in mud. I'm like, well, mate, there was like 20 fucking good meters of water here. There should be mud around, you know what I mean? Like, Arabella paints in the backyard. I walk out and I've got some stuff. I'm sure if I set foot in Lismore, I'd get some mud on my boots, and my shirt and stuff like that. These army people did not look very dirty at all, and ScoMo was just getting absolutely roasted, you know what I mean? Marketing, stunt, publicity. Then, of course, the mainstream media get on board and they're like, oh, look at the army. Look at what they're doing. It's like, nah, mate, look at what the fucking locals are doing. Again, they were sort of like giving snippets of how good these people are and stuff and highlighting these things. But I don't know. It's just one of those things. But yeah, so look, I feel really bad for the people that got flooded out. It would be not a nice thing at all when you work so hard to own a home or rent a house, when you got to pay it, fill it with all your fucking loved possessions and things like that. And then water just comes sweeping in, and there's really fuck all that you can do about it unless you get all your stuff to higher ground, which some people would have, some people can't, so just one of those things, and it's pretty scary, I'm sure, too. So we won't talk shit about the floods at all, just the government, right, tonight, because you can never crap on the government too much. Of course, there's been Ukraine. I can't remember if like Russia had bombed Ukraine the last time I was on the blow with Matt, but if not, the world's turned to shit. I take 2 weeks off the mic and fuck me dead. It's literally imploding, you know what I mean? And exploding. Like, Russia has just all of a sudden gone, we're going to try to take over Ukraine. In this day and age, I don't really get the fascination with that. Like, what's the deal with, like, presidents of, I don't even know if they're a democracy, a communism sort of country. I don't know. I'm showing my ignorance here, of course. I don't know. That's how much I don't care about politics, generally speaking. But, like, he's just gone, fuck that country, I'm going to take it over and I'm going to bomb it and stuff like that. And it would just be, to me, that's just such a cruel, like, to go, I'm going to have that thought. That's some Hitler level shit going, I'm going to have that thought, right? And I don't want to be sitting here virtue signaling and stuff like that, because I know a lot of Western countries that have done some like really horrible things over the years, right? America, no angels, right? They have bombed a lot of Arabic countries, a lot of different countries of that nature, Afghanistan, Iraq, all this sort of stuff. I'm pretty sure the golden boy Barack Obama, I got nothing against him personally, but I think he bombed, isn't the stat like he's sent more bombs to Afghanistan and Iraq and things like that than any other president in human history? So yeah, like, I don't think, that all these other people virtue signaling and stuff like that, it's like, oh my God, but they've done bad shit themselves. That's what I'm getting at. But it is incredibly bad. I don't believe in war and things like that. I don't think that they do anything good. I don't see what some dude dropping bombs on another country to take over it. Why would you? You've got your own country, and it's a pretty good country, right? It goes well. You've got great fucking UFC fighters. You drink vodka. I don't really like vodka, but like from all accounts, you guys love it. So yeah, there's like certain things that like you're just like, why would you do that, right? And all these Ukrainians, I feel really bad for them. It's the footage that gets me of like, it's the mums, it's the kids and things like that. I have a kid and I have a partner, and it's just like that. It makes your heart break. Like, it really does. You're going, I can't do anything here. You know what I mean? Like, it'd just be one of those things. I find it, like I could get on and change my Facebook profile to a fucking Ukrainian flag or something like that, and you show my support and stuff like that. But it's kind of like, what can you actually do? You know what I mean? Like, do I get in a plane and go and fuck off and fight with the Ukrainian and army and things like that? And there are people on the ground that are probably just fighting. So incredibly hard situation. I don't even know how you tackle it, but it's crazy to see, and it's good to see that all these people are going, you know what, fuck this, fuck Putin, fuck Russia. We're just going to stay put, right? And I feel bad too for saying that, because I feel bad for Russians too, because now there's going to be this whole fucking Russian phobia thing. I know, like Spotify, Elon Musk, all these people are turning, systems off in Russia and stuff like that. And I know it's a thing that they have to do to stop Putin and whatever. But there's so many people in that country that probably sit there and go, I don't fucking want this shit. I'm Russian. I don't give a fuck about this war and stuff like that. But from all accounts, the guy rules with an iron fist. Like, in this country, you can talk shit about ScoMo and no one really gives a fuck, right? Everyone's sort of like, yeah, he's a dickhead. But in Russia, it's almost like, if you get caught calling Putin a dickhead, it's almost like you're clipped probably. It's one of those North Korea type situations. I can almost guarantee that you'd get fucking in trouble. I saw a video the other day, and it was people on the street being asked, do you agree with Putin and what he's doing? Now, a lot of them were like, yeah, we do. But you could see that it was like the fear on their face was like, yeah, I don't want to talk about this. Like, yeah, but hail Putin. And then one old lady at the end of it, who was just kind of getting onto the end of her life, was like, it's bullshit. I don't believe in it, and it shouldn't be happening, sort of thing. And you're going, she has fucking huge balls and dump trucks, you know what I mean? Like, that's the kind of point she is in her life, and she can call out bullshit when she sees it. So, yeah, don't bomb me, Putin, if you are listening, but it's one of those things. I just don't believe in what you're doing, mate. So I think you should get out of Ukraine quick smart. And any country that's in another country, get out quick smart. Let people handle themselves. People should stop fighting, love each other, listen to King of the Couch podcast, and just have a good time, right? Drink some fucking pretty pathetic, lightly sparkling water. Just a hint. Oh God, it's definitely not a beer, but I told myself I've got a goal. Yeah, so there was that. Petrol prices through the roof, absolutely disgusting. Don't know why they're so expensive. It keeps getting blamed on Russia and things like that. I'm sure tax has something to do with it in a lot of Western countries. I reckon they could just lower taxes for a little bit, give the people a break. But why would they do that? They make too much money. But yeah, people are absolutely losing their fucking minds about it. I've never seen so many people collectively give a shit about petrol prices in my life, but it's fucking expensive. I put $80 in my car, they didn't even fill it, and I was like, oh God, this is fucked. I make a little bit more. I literally made more money this month, and everything's just gone up. It's like, fuck, So anyway, I'm going to have to make a lot more money, right? That's the name of the game. I can't do too much about the petrol prices unless I fucking drive a Tesla. So we're just going to have to make more money. There's been some other bullshit that's happened. I said Shane Warne passed away. I mentioned the Shane Warne documentary that we watched on Amazon Prime. This isn't a plug for Amazon Prime. It just happens to be on that network. Go and watch it. It's a sick documentary. It was great. Love his story. Didn't realise that he was like tried to be an AFL player before a cricket player. That sort of stuff happened, that he just fucking toured overseas in England, just absolutely punching fucking every drink in sight. Just an absolute character. And that's what I think everybody can sort of relate to him about. He didn't have the sickest rig in the world. He had like a, funny looking hair and stuff like that. He smoked, he drank, he ate meat pies, he partied. Like, people could relate, right? And he was a fucking great spin bowler. Like, there was no two ways about that, right? And I'm not a cricket person, but I know that I could watch Shane Warne and go, that's fucking fun to watch, right? That's interesting, right? Because he is a character as well, but he was actually a fucking crazy bowler. So it just made you go, yeah, this guy's cool, So I don't think there's been anyone of his caliber in the game for quite some time, or ever, really. Like, to me, he's probably the greatest cricketer ever. I think he should have captained Australia. That shows how much I don't know about cricket, but I'm sure a lot of people that follow cricket would be in agreement there. So I think he could have captained Australia. Definitely, he's just known for just like getting smoking hot babes all over the world, you know what I mean? Like, not that that's a be-all and end-all, but I'm just saying he must be a good dude. Like, he must be a guy that has a good time, and fucking women resonate with him, So, it was very sad. 52, heart attack. That's like very, very young in my eyes, you know what I mean? And it was just like, came as a shock because we just like watched the documentary. I was like, fuck, he seems like a cool dude, And then bang, he's dead, and you go, God. One of those things, just like incredibly sad, but that happens. I've just seen tonight Scott Hall, the wrestler, Outsiders fame, NWO fame, partner of Kevin Nash fame. He's on life support right now. Had like a triple heart attack after hip surgery. Yeah, just fucked. It's just like, what the fuck, you know what I mean? So one of those things. So yeah, I don't don't pray and things like that, but like I love for him to pull through. You don't want to see anyone going like that. He's only 63. He's pretty young. I know he had heaps of drug and alcohol issues, but he got clean and tried to better himself and things like that. It's just, yeah, it's another legend that likely will pass away, unfortunately. To have a bit of a solid note, we had International Women's Day last week in fact, and I think International Women's Day is cool. You know, I got nothing against it personally. I had an interesting thought come through from a friend about it. Won't mention his name. I didn't think it was that bad, and he was just sent me this video, which was interesting. It was on Mamma Mia. Go and check it out. Probably wouldn't have seen it if it wasn't for him. I didn't see it go viral or anything like that, but it was interesting. They pointed out all those sort of hypocrisies to men and women, and I maybe I've always been quite lenient with women. I have found that, and this isn't a sexist remark, I've always just found I'm a lot closer with women than men. I have a lot of good guy mates, don't get me wrong. I am a blokey bloke at times myself, but I've always loved the company and the friendship of women, right? I've had girlfriends, just friendly. I've had more than friendly relationships, and I've always enjoyed them all. I've always loved them for, I love Beck. I love the time spent with her. I love absolutely everything. I love the fact that I've got a daughter and I'm getting to see her grow. And there's things that you think about differently when you're a girl dad, you know what I mean? And I know that men can be total pieces of shit. And this isn't a I hate men exercise, because men are great, you know what I mean? I think men have a really hard time too, right? And it's not about that, but I know as a man some of the things I pulled growing up, and even into my adult life, some of the shit you still do, you know what I mean? You're like, oh god. But it's just cool that they're recognised, and I think it's nice to do a bit of a public affection and stuff for your partners or your mums or your sisters and whatnot. I was thinking though, is there an International Men's Day? I don't remember seeing that. So if you could do something about that, government, that'd be nice. I'd like to get a bit of online praise. But yeah, look, I've always loved the women in my life, and I always put them on a pedestal. I think they're the greatest species in the world. You know what I mean? They give you life. How can you not love and respect women? You know, they give you life. Without them, you would not be here. That's man or woman, right? So yeah. But yeah, so much has been happening. I got a little thing here. Arabella telling me she loves my fat belly. That was nice. That was before a little bit of weight loss from the sickness, but it's so good. Kids just love you for who you are, not your potential, you know? And I really love that about kids. Like, she just looks at this little chubby piece of shit gut and she goes, oh, I love it, Dad. I love it. I want to kiss it. Oh, I want to kiss it. I love it. And I love it. The fact that they just love you for who you are, not your potential. It's a really sweetheart thing. I've got 2 more things here. I'm rocking along 51 minutes. It's been 2 weeks. I'm not going to cut you off tonight. We're going to talk. Pam and Tommy. I'm gonna go through this. We'll rush through this, maybe the last 2 things, but not. Pam and Tommy, Disney Plus. I will say 8-part series, fucking good series, really good. Seth Rogen's in it, like Sebastian Stan, I think his name is, and Lily James. I didn't really know them. Now I know them. They legitimately look like Pam and Tommy, and they acted really like Pam and Tommy. Pam was especially Pamela, and Tommy was especially Tommy. Like, it was just a really fucking cool thing, you know? That was really, really cool. Apparently, they didn't authorize the series, and it wasn't like, it wasn't a thing that they signed off or anything like that. So factually, I don't know how much of it's true. It seemed pretty factual, you know what I mean? They didn't sort of sugarcoat anything. You know, apparently the guy stole, he was ripped off by Tommy Lee. So they really make Tommy Lee out to be a bit of a dick. I've seen him in a lot of interviews. Look, I'm sure he's had a dickhead sort of time, you know what I mean? We all have, right? But he's a rock star, right? So he would have been drunk and on drugs. He can be obnoxious, and he's got that uber confidence about him, right? But yeah, they really make him out to be a bit of a piece of shit in the first episode, where he's just like not paying their builders, and you know. So basically, this one builder gets the idea of like, well, I need my money back. I'm going to rob this safe, and he comes up with this plan, and I can't believe it actually played off. It was factual. But he steals a safe, and that safe happens to have a sex tape in it, which he comes across. And then basically, this is pre-internet, and this is like, how do we take that sex tape and make money off it? So they start to pirate it, and they start to sell it on the street. But the guy gets the idea to sell it on the internet, right? Sell a tape on the internet for a fee, completely untraceable and things like that. And then, of course, it just shit goes pear-shaped. Pam and Tommy, maybe a little bit naive. Tommy's like, look, it's not going to go anywhere. And Pam's like, it's good to see it from a woman's point of view. I thought they captured that well. He's going, look, it's not a big deal. She's going, you don't get it because you're not me, a woman trying to make their way in the world, in Hollywood. It's going to eat you up and spit you out sort of mentality. So I thought that was really good. You know what I mean? He was always, he was incredibly famous before her. He was fucking notorious. I mean, the guy had pulled out his dick on stage. I will say, like, the guy's got a monster hog. Like, it is such a, like, okay thing. You know, he's probably sitting there going, like, yeah, like, I have a huge dick. Like, if I had a massive dick like that and the world was seeing it, you're like, it's not a bad thing. Maybe it was like an inch long, people can make fun of him about it. What are they going to do? Oh, yeah, you got such a huge dick, you're a millionaire, and you're in an awesome rock band, and you get to have sex with Pamela Anderson. I'm sorry, like, where's, like, the unfairness in that? So, really cool series, I thought, which made me sort of look and go into the history of sex tapes. So Pam and Tommy's sex tape, I will say, I think it was the highest grossing sex tape of all time. $77 million it made. Back then, that was probably a lot. This is like the mid-90s, right? This is like pre-internet, so it boomed on the internet. This young dude eventually gets the rights. In the show, and spoiler alert if you haven't watched it already, go and watch it, but in the show, he basically... He's offered some money for it, and then Pam goes, we don't want to give him, I'm not selling my body like that. Penthouse get a hold of it. She's a Playboy girl, all this sort of stuff. So like, you could see how that she's like incredibly ridiculed in it by like all these sort of things around her, you know. So you do feel bad for her in that way, and it kind of is played like, you know, he, like, Tommy basically goes, look, it's all good to steal it from me, but you stole it from Pamela to this guy that steals it. So yeah, one of these things, but I'm having a look through here, right? So this was like the biggest sex tape. There was, of course, like the Kim Kardashian sex tape. So I know she's a powerhouse and she's done well. I know she's had a couple of lewd, crude comments lately. I didn't really see them being that bothersome, but apparently it was the day on International Women's Day, or the day after, she said something about women working harder and stuff like that. I don't know, but I could see how it's... you know, was taken the wrong way. I could see how it was probably taken out of context too, because what the Western media do is get this and then edit that and post that, because it's clickbait. That's how it works. So yeah, we had Kimmy K and Ray J. I don't know. I will say I don't think Ray J has kicked on as hard as Kimmy K has, but don't matter. Hulk Hogan's had his one. You know, apparently legend has it that Marilyn Manson had one. So I'm sure he's had one, but it's not here. Marilyn Monroe, back from like the fucking, you know, early 20s. So she was young then. I don't even know what her era was. Maybe 30s, 40s? Don't know. But I'm looking through here. Obviously, there's Pamela Lee. So Pamela Anderson has Tommy Lee. And there was another one that fucking came out years and years later with Bret Michaels, the singer of Poison. It was apparently like pre-Tommy Lee days. It's crazy. This one I thought was pretty disgusting. Chuck Berry, you know, Hail Hail Rock and Roll sort of fame. He recorded videos of himself urinating and engaging in coprophilia with women. Anyone that doesn't know what coprophilia is, that means taking a shit on someone. That was pretty fucking disgusting. And to look at Chuck, I wouldn't picture him as someone that's into scat and shitting and pissing on women. But I mean, each to their own. Apparently, he wasn't a nice guy, and so that makes me find it even more weird, because he's such a good guitarist and singer, but then he's a bit of a piece of shit that likes shitting on people. So I don't know, it wasn't for me. Chyna, former wrestler, I remember her. I actually saw that one. I've seen the Pam and Tommy one. I remember, like, as a young boy, when you get the internet and you have all these things, that was interesting. And, you know, it was fun. I mean, it looked like a lot of fun. It wasn't like your typical porno. It was a home video, right? It looks like someone had actually legitimately, even thinking back, it was like, yeah, this is a private video that someone stole. Like, it doesn't look like it should be released. But going through here, Chyna, I remember her. That was a sad one because she's, like, died. But there was... One Night in China, and then there was another night in China. So she eventually went into porn. I think it was like She-Hulk, Triple X. I'm reading this, by the way. I not know from experience. Just watch that first one, of course. Fred Durst apparently had one. Frontman had a video of him and an unknown woman having sex leaked onto the internet by a repairman who'd be repairing his computer. Imagine that. You like go out of your way because your computer's fucked, and you pay someone to do an honest job, and they steal it off you, you know, to make more money. Yeah, but apparently he later sued this website and 9 others for $70 million for publishing it. I haven't seen that, but I don't know. I don't think it's one of those really good ones. Tonya Harding, she I think I, Tonya, there was that movie with Margot Robbie. She was the famous figure skater that was known for being involved in smashing her opponent's kneecaps in. Didn't go too well because she made a Penthouse home video after it, so it sort of put the kibosh on her figure skating career, but opened up for porn. Paris Hilton had one. How could I forget Paris? Oh my God. Chelsea Handler. I've heard her name. She's a stand-up comic. Apparently there's one of her having sex with a man. You know, Paris Hilton, yeah, with a guy called Rick Solomon. They call it One Night in Paris. Cute title. Kim Kardashian has, of course. Only looking at these people. Rob Lowe had one. Rob Lowe. I can see how he has one. Why not? Vince Neil. Motley Crue, what up? He had one with a porn star, Janine Lindemulder. I think Janine is famous. from our era, you'll probably know her from the Blink-182 cover and that song, What's My Age Again? She was in that film clip. So yeah, apparently he's done that. Nelly's got a sex tape, as you would, probably wearing the tape on his eye. He has since apologising following the accidental posting to his Instagram. Imagine that. He's just like flicking through Instagram. Like, there's like, this must be an old school, because there's a few levels to posting, right? And he's accidentally posted him like getting a blowjob. It's like, pick that, confirm that, maybe put a filter on it. Yes, I'm happy with this. Do I do a caption? Maybe he's just put like that water emoji or something. Post, oh, I made a huge mistake. Doubt it. Tila Tequila, I remember her. She went on, and I think she was in porn anyway. I don't know, but she definitely was in porn. Scott Stapp from Creed fame. Can you take me higher? Wow, apparently him and Kid Rock were seen having oral sex with groupies. I mean, that's like, I'm sure this happens, you know what I mean? But like the fact that someone whips out the phone, takes it on the internet, I'm sure like a lot of this is premeditated by someone else that's there. They're going, we're going to get them. Gene Simmons, of course, has had one. Vern Troyer, Mini-Me. I'd like to see that one. I've actually not seen that one. I'd like to see that one. But apparently he had one of him and his former living girlfriend, Renee Schrader, having sex. Of course, having sex is a sex tape. So anyway, it was leaked. TMZ got it, tried to sell the video, but yeah, what do you do? Mini-Me, he's passed away, God rest his soul, but I'd like to check that out. Kendra Wilkinson, she was Playboy, Girls Next Door. It's not so hard for me to go, look, a Playboy person, model, whatever you call them, has then taken a leap into the sex tape thing. So yeah, I don't know, but I think sex tapes are interesting, right? I think nowadays it's probably like blown over, like it's just the idea, I think, of like, that person. It's like how OnlyFans has really kicked on. It's like, I can see a picture of this person on the internet, right? They're good looking. Well, they're not even that good looking. It doesn't even matter. It's not even about looks half the time. Some people will argue against that, but I think it's about that. Like if I knew that my neighbor or my boss or someone, they were like, had a sex tape out there, you're in a fucking want or need. I don't know. I'm lost for words right now. You go, wouldn't mind seeing that, because I have this painted picture of this person in this box and now they're out here doing sex tapes. I'm interested. I guarantee that every person listening to this show right now that's enjoying themselves, you would be, it's an hour in, you would have to be enjoying yourselves at this point. You're going, you know what, if the king of the couch, aka Tomo, if he fucking released a sex tape, I'd buy it, I'd check it out. I reckon I could get on OnlyFans and charge $5 a month or something like that. People would probably still listen to the podcast, and then me fucking charging them to flick my bean, or however they do it. I don't know what the guys do on there, but never say never, never say never. Anyway, that's sex tapes. I'm going to go out here. Two things. Song recommendation, Bob Villain, Health is Wealth, go and check it out. Movie recommendation, The Debt Collector, go and check it out. Bit of a B movie, awesome action flick. But there's this one here that's Stewie. I'm going to end on this. This is a question. He was good enough to ask me a question. Yeah, it was sort of a bit of a series of questions, right? He basically was insinuating, like, how do people in sex scenes, actors, not porn stars, fitting that we're talking about sex tapes prior, how, do they not get horned up and fuck and all these sort of things, right? So he goes, I mean, how many sex scenes in films start out with actors faking it and they get carried away and they just fuck anyway? Then, to your question, can't remember what my question was, how many film a sex scene and then after the shoot they hit each other up like, hey, you want to do that for real? Two things. I don't think that, like, in a Hollywood movie that they would actually get down and have sex on the set. I think there'd be like a lot of aggressive, like, grinding and stuff like that. People might get wet. I've heard that, like, people take boners and stuff like that. A lot of these new school actors, they're like method actors, you know what I mean? I feel like Joaquin Phoenix is the kind of guy that could, like, control a boner. Like, I think he would be that good. Like, Christian Bale, they're the kind of guys like, I'll lose 50 kilos for a role. I don't give a shit. I'll eat an apple and a black coffee for 70 days for The Machinist. I can easily not get a boner. You can keep your tape. That's some amateur shit. I'm a method actor. I'll never take my boner down. And I reckon they just have like that mind where they're just like doing it, having a good time and never needing to take their boner down. The girls, probably the same. There's some method actors out there, you know what I mean? Meryl Streep, things like that. It's hard to picture Meryl, like really getting down. There's some other really sexual movies out there. Like, I reckon it heightens those sex scenes. I've been sitting there sometimes. Those sex scenes, those ones where you're on the couch and your mum's there and you're like, fuck, wish I wasn't watching this with you. Those sort of sex scenes where you're like, oh, wow, this is full on. And then, of course, that's evident that people after it have gone, hey, do you want to do this for real? So many people have, like, acted together not being together, and then they're, you know, engaged or married and stuff like that. Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn, hello. Who else? You know, Machine Gun Kelly and that Megan Fox. Don't know if they ever acted together. I don't know. I know he's done some stuff. I don't remember in the Transformers films. That's a bad example, but there's others. I know there's others. So I definitely think that happens. And then he goes on to say, I was watching a film on Sunday that had a sex scene. I was like, if I'm that actor, there's no way I'm not buying up. Firstly, I don't know if I mentioned this guy's name yet, and I'm sorry if I have, but he's not a method actor. He's what I'd call an amateur actor. And then I was like, I wonder what the female actress is thinking if the dude gets a hard on. I'd be flattered. I think that'd be flattered. Unless she's like a proper actor, like a proper method actor, she'd be like, get this pig the tape. Or is she thinking, meh, it's natural? I would think it's natural. Like, you know what I mean? We really have no control over it. Like, you might have control over it. I'm not a method actor. Like, sometimes a gust of wind's going to fucking make me go 6 to midnight. And then he goes, you know, if the chick is basically naked, somewhere deep down she's into it too. Or is it all just really business, like the cameras are around and it's just show business? I mean, it is just show business, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, like, they're going, look, there's a sex scene in this movie. You're about to make $20 to $40 million. What do you do? I'm doing it. You know what I mean? Like, this is why they can do it when they have partners, because they're going, hey, listen, love, like, I know that smoking hot actress or that smoking hot actor, you know, look, I know I've got to rub up against Hugh Jackman, you know, I've got to fucking rub up against Wolverine's sheath here, but it's just business, babe. You know, $20 million on the line, me and Hugh in a very intimate sex scene, you know, big deal. We're going to get rich, right? We suckers. We work 9 to 5. Doing a podcast on a Monday night for no money. Drinking no sugar drinks. Not even a hint of passion fruit. We could be doing that. But let me just rub up against Heath, make this fucking bread, and then we'll go out to dinner. It'd be fucking lovely. It'd be a nice dinner. So yeah, I think there's pros and cons to it, of course. But I generally think that it's a 50-50. I think method actors, they just get a job done, get their money, go home to their loved ones. And then there's those other ones. Like, if you're single, right, and you had a good vibe, I would take advantage of that. Like, hey, do you feel that chemistry in there? Like, I felt I'm a method actor, but, I mean, I know what's real, you know? So, Daniel Day-Lewis, he ain't taping his boner, you know? Anyway, on that note, that was episode 132. I really enjoyed myself. So good to be back on the couch tonight, on the mic with you. I'm sitting on a fucking stool, basically, but it was so good to be back, right? I didn't do it at the start of the show because I don't want to bore you with that, but make sure you're subscribing to the show if you're a new viewer, on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Please go and give me a review. It means a lot. Pay it forward. I love people sharing clips over the last couple of weeks. So good. Send me feedback. I get a kick out of that too. Pay it forward's a big one though. Yeah, go and do all that. I got nothing more to say. I'm going to love you and absolutely leave you. You've been a fucking brilliant audience. Have a great week, and I love you all.